Shortly before 10:30, a lieutenant with the Prince George's County Police Department made a traffic stop here at 23rd Avenue and Ager Road. During that traffic stop, the lieutenant developed probable cause to search the vehicle. He had another officer on scene who was assisting. The suspect was removed from the vehicle. During the course of the search, the suspect evaded the backup officer and re-entered the vehicle while the lieutenant was still in the vehicle searching. At that time, the suspect took off with the lieutenant partially in, partially out of the vehicle. The vehicle drove about 150 yards. During the course of that 150 yards, we do know that the lieutenant discharged his firearm. The reason, we don't know yet. We're still investigating. We do know that the suspect was struck and an accident occurred. The suspect was transported to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The lieutenant was also transported to the hospital with significant injuries, non-life-threatening. The second officer, who was also knocked to the ground by the vehicle, was transported to the hospital as well. We're not identifying the officer at this time. We're not identifying the suspect at this time, pending notifications to the family. We don't have a lot more information as this is still being investigated. With all fatal shootings in the state of Maryland, it's being turned over to the Independent Investigation Division out of the Attorney General's office, who will provide us with further updates once they conclude their investigation. There is a large amount of marijuana that was located in the car. The exact quantity, we're not sure, but there's a large laundry bag full. So we're just gonna wait till we search that vehicle to find out what else was in the car. I'll take a few questions, but understand they're gonna be limited with what my answers are.
Chief, when the officers saw the suspect in the car, what led them to pull the car over?
That's still under investigation. We don't know that just yet.
And it sounds as though this officer could have feared for his life, which is why he opened fire during this while he was being dragged in the car?
Absolutely. We saw an officer struck by a vehicle and drugged yesterday in the District of Columbia, and something similar happened to our officer. And in my opinion, it would be a life-threatening situation.
I just want to ask about the timeline. You said that this all started at what time exactly?
Just before 10:30 this evening.
Okay.
And just to clarify, so the suspect was in the vehicle, the officer was taken in the vehicle, and a second officer on the scene was hit by that vehicle?
So the suspect was out of the vehicle. The lieutenant was searching the vehicle. The other officer was with the suspect. The suspect evaded that officer, re-entered the vehicle with the lieutenant still in the vehicle searching, and took off with the lieutenant partially in, partially out of the vehicle, is what we believe at this time. Everything is preliminary.
Body worn.
So one officer injured, suspect injured. The second officer on the scene was not injured.
He was also injured, transported to a local hospital. He was knocked to the ground by the vehicle as it was taking off.
Okay.
So one officer and the suspect succumbed to his injuries, you said, and only one officer was transported? I just want to make sure.
One officer was transported with significant injuries.
Yes.
A second officer was also transported.
Was the suspect in handcuffs at the time that he...
No, he was not. All right.
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
The people who live in this neighborhood, the power is out because of this crash?
There was a telephone pole that was struck. So whether the power is out, I'm not sure. It appears to be out, but we've coordinated with Pepco already. So we hope to get that back up and running.
And the timeline for neighbors to return to the neighborhood?
So we're not preventing anybody from returning from their home. They just can't come through the crime scene. So
Thank you.
I noticed that you also said that you didn't want something like what happened in D.C. to happen here. Talk a little bit about the importance of protecting your officers.
Well, I don't think I said exactly that, but obviously you never want your officers to be injured while they're out here trying to serve and protect the community. This is not the outcome that anybody wants. You never want to see life lost, regardless of the circumstances. So I wish it could have been different. I wish that, the suspect would have cooperated and let the scene play out. And if it led to an arrest, then it led to arrest. That's something that he can dispute in court. But when you try to dispute that in the street like this, it doesn't end well, and it's not what we wanted. It's not what the officer wanted.
Does the
Is there only one suspect? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, one suspect.
Does the suspect live in this neighborhood, was moving through this area?
We don't believe he lives in this neighborhood. We don't believe he lives in the county with what we know at this time, but he could be staying there.
Chief, with the suspect's white car, we have video of it. After that shooting, he crashed?
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Because that's the video. Okay, thank you
Yes.
for the clarification.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.